Welcome back, everyone, to Mark Holowitz Vlog. Thanks a lot to each and every one of you. Really appreciate you coming back over and over and over again. And again, I love it when you guys reach out. You have some great comments. Continues to inspire me. But today, let's dive right into it. And since we talked about the F Type last week, and we talked really about the F Type, some of the interior features and all the buttons that we come across these cars. But when we talk about the exterior, and I know I've spoken about the exterior of the F Types before, but there's a lot of nuances specifically to the F Type R that you don't necessarily find in some of the other models. But guess what? Let's go for a drive in the F Type here right now. We're going to take this bad boy for a spin, but I want to go and find a couple other different trim levels and do some comparisons and really take a look at, the differences, because obviously within R here we have that amazing looking valence there. We have the quad exhaust tips there. That's a big feature that you'll find unique to the R for sure. And then of course there's other tidbits and pieces that you'll notice on the front end of the car, depending on the year or the particular trim level. As well, I noticed the rocker panels. There's something unique there because as you get lower level trims, you don't always have the same rockers. So let's do a comparison. Because even for me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys wonder, what is truly the best trim line to go with? I mean, a lot of guys like the coupes and certainly a lot of go with the convertible, and some go with the V6s and the 4-bangers and the V8s and SVRs. Lots of different trim lines. But what are you guys thinking out there? Do you guys have a specific trim line that you're really gravitating to? Maybe it's budget based, or maybe it's just based on, particular taste. But honestly, guys, I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's one of those things that even before I bought the F Type R, I knew I wanted the V8 just because of the previous experiences I had. But for me, when I first came across these cars, I knew I wanted the R just because of the crazy sounds and the V8 thrust. And honestly, I know I'm based more on numbers. Like, I'm one of these guys that looks at the numbers. And when they start spouting out numbers, 550 horsepower, 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds, quarter mile this, and top speed that. At the end of the day, I'm ridiculous. I'm a little bit superficial that way. But with my cars, all of them are based on numbers. I never want to have that car that's light on power and maybe a little heavy on character. I'd rather find heavy character, heavy power, and definitely style. But I know there's a lot more to these F Types than just performance and outright numbers. And I know a lot of you guys decide to buy other different means. And convertibles, I like the coupe, the way it looks, and the way it sort of flares out. And I feel like the coupe definitely emphasizes that look. And whereas the convertible, people love it because you get the open air, the free breathing, and of course the sound effects that you hear coming more directly into the cabin. So there's a lot of reasons people buy what they buy, and some of it's, again, like I said, based on your budgets, and some of it's based on just personal tastes. Some people like a cleaner style. Some people don't like that busy looking rear fascia or design there, quad tailpipes. As a matter of fact, I understand why people go with these center mounted pipes. It actually looks very sporty that way. But let's go take a look and see at the local dealership and what they have and do a little walk around comparison, because I know what the F Type R looks like here, but what about some of the other models? Let's go. So here's another variant. Let's take a look, and what we have here is a slightly older variation of the Model S. So this is the F Type S model, of course. This is the 3-liter V6, and honestly, it makes like 335 horsepower. They crack 0 to 60 in probably, I think it's around 5.1 or 5.2 seconds. So it's more than enough gusto to get up and go, and it's surely a lot of fun, but there's definitely some differences. I'm looking at this already from my car, the F Type R. Let's look around and see what some of the differences. Now, clearly I can tell this is a slightly older variation, simply because of those front vents. As you'll notice, my F Type R, or all the newer cars, have the horizontal slat here. Of course, we have a vertical slat. That's an older generation car. You can also tell the headlights are the older generation. They've got this big round beam light right there. And of course, it's an S, which I talked about, of this wonderful Jaguar. And of course, as a convertible, this is what I say. Some people love that roof down experience, and quite frankly, I can't deny that. I too also love that look. Of course, we've got different wheels on here, but we do have the big red brakes on there. Jaguar, just some different chrome touches. Mine's blacked out. And of course, you got those flush handles. But looking at the back, it actually looks quite different. It seems less pronounced. I mean, you've got the flatter trunk here, but the flares are still there nonetheless, and it definitely gives you that more aggressive look. Especially when the roof is down, it's definitely going to give you that inspiration. And of course, like I said before, you've got the center-mounted tailpipes. Actually, I really love the looks of these. That looks sharp. And then, of course, the rear splitter at the back is a wider panel, a lot smoother, and you've just got these two larger strikes right there. But other than that, I mean, it's not a whole lot different. I mean, the Model S does have a little less power, than the F Type R, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, 9 times out of 10, most of the time you're under certain RPM, you're driving in traffic. This has enough get up and go to make it fun and exciting. So you're not really missing all that power unless you're really hitting the on-ramps and you're really trying to go hard. Oh, by the way, one other thing, you'll notice the vents are a little different on this car too. Mine, I believe, are a little further forward and they're a little bit different. I believe my vents are a little larger on the F Type R of the newer generation cars, but that's a clear difference. But clearly these cars have subtle differences. Let's see what else we can find. And we have another beautiful F Type parked right here. This one's a little bit newer than that last one we saw. This is the newer generation, but you'll notice below it, it shares the same rear valence that the S has that I just showed you. It also has the same type of rear tailpipes that you've got on the Model S from before, on the F Type S as I saw on before. But the rest of this, now we're talking about a coupe, so this is a little different than the last car. However, this is a different model. This one here is R Dynamic all-wheel drive. And you'll notice this one actually has those high gloss black rocker panels on it. And of course we got the gloss black Jaguar logo on there. And of course this one is, as you'll notice, I can definitely appreciate we're talking about the newer style headlights. These ones are like mine. Obviously, we don't have those big beams in the center. We've got a much lower profile lighting arrangement on these cars here. So definitely, this is like the newer generation, as well as look at the nostrils, just like the F Type R that I'm driving, which mine's a 2018. And then this one here, though, where there's a little difference here between my F Type R and this one, of course, you'll notice this has a slightly softer arrangement on the bumper. Mine's a bigger hole there, and of course I got the horizontal slat. This one here is just a smaller gape there. So subtle differences, again, unique, as we're talking about the R Dynamic right there. Oh, wait a minute, we have a couple other F Types over here. And you know what I'm looking at? A couple of R's right here. Which one do you guys like better? Are you more of, you know, the black colors, or you like the dark grays? This is more like mine. This is not my car, but it's a lot more like my car. What are you guys thinking? What's your flavor for your color? You go with the gray, you go with the black, or even the white, or even the blue. I mean, the F Types come in the blue as well. It looks really swanky. But again, review here. This is like the F Type R, such as mine. You'll notice the bigger holes there, and of course the horizontal slat. Look at this little fella. And this one also has that rocker panel like you see over on the 400. We've got the chrome tailpipes, just like on mine. And you'll notice it has the rear valence, similar to mine as well, where it comes up and over, and it's a lot more pronounced with the quad exhaust tips on this car because it's an R. And another thing, we're back at the S convertible again, but I couldn't help but wonder, after I looked at those other two, I noticed that the rocker panel is non-existent. I mean, take a look here. We're talking about the older S here. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Some people like a sleeker look. This car does not actually have that more pronounced rocker panel. It's actually just finishes off right there. Pretty straightforward stuff. But it is clean. It's a clean look. And I can see why some people often prefer to go with a style like that. I mean, it's no different than a lot of people end up going with, you know, debadging their cars. They just like that clean look. They get rid of some of the logos and symbols, and they just try to go with that, ultimately the cleaner look of their car. And sorry I couldn't show you a little bit more. I mean, it doesn't really matter. That's not the point. I mean, friends of mine, they just sold their SVR, but they have a Project 7. It is an absolute animal car. It's great, sounds aggressive, and it has that rear hump there behind the driver's seat. It's definitely a unique car with a little extra jam. Unique, more valuable, and certainly more of a collectible car for the future. But enough about that. I'm going to ask each and every one of you, what's your favorite configuration? Do you like a particular drivetrain or coupe or convertible the best? I mean, they do come in different setups and different configurations. And I kind of walked you through some of that. What are your personal preferences? Do you like the convertibles, or do you like some of those other add-ons or takeoffs? Do you like it simple and clean, or do you prefer to have all those aggressive little rocker panels and wings and things? Like the SVR has a big wing on it. Do you like it with, or do you like it without the wing? Just a general question to each and every one of you. I'd like to hear what you guys all think, because I know I have the preference. I bought the car of my dreams pretty much, and I'd just be curious what you guys are thinking and what would be your personal preference. And what I might actually do is put a poll out there at some point very soon to find out what's your preference. I might actually break it down to the specific type of F-Type, and we'll see what kind of responses we'll get. But anyway, drop a line in the comment section below. But hey, before we get to the end of the video, I want to talk about the latest and greatest with the X5. I've been talking about that for a while. Yes, we still have that junker. And yes, we've been still putzing around, and yes, we've been trying to sell it. So here's the latest. Today we actually had a gentleman showed up, gave me a song and dance about some storyline that he had some issues, personal financial issues. He loves the car. He swears to everything that he loves the car and he wants the car, but he explains that he doesn't have a whole lot of money right now. He only has $1,000 in his bank, and he said, hey, let's get a lawyer involved. I'd love to buy the car, but can we set it up so that I keep it, like we each have a key. He drives the car away and pays me $500 a month for this car. First of all, I'm not a loaner, I'm not a loan shark, I'm not a bank, and I'm certainly not a car dealership or a finance operation. Although that does make me wonder, maybe that is the business that a person should be in, because clearly there's a lot of money to be made there. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to clear myself of that car, get rid of it, and I just want to be paid out. But I feel like there's something brewing there, and it feels like there's some kind of shenanigans. If that sounds like a familiar shank to you guys, let me know if you think there's something brewing behind that. I'd love to know what kind of scam this guy's trying to run, because I do feel it's a scam. I feel like he's trying to drive away with the car and make something happen. And of course, I'll feel like I'm short-shifted. So anyway, please drop a line either way, your favorite F-Type, as well as do you have an idea as what this guy's trying to pull a fast one on me. Anyway, either way, love for you to join. If you haven't joined the channel, I'd love for you to smash that subscribe button. I really don't think it costs you anything, so give it a try. You're gonna love the content. I mean, this is really about the lifestyle of living the car dream. And I'm proof you don't have to be a millionaire 10 times over to be able to afford the car of your dream. It really is about enjoying that short time we have on this planet, because why? Life's too short to drive boring cars. Hope to see you real soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.